Okay, up till now, I've done three different videos this year about credit cards. Now, those of you who follow me, you know that I have an 850 as a personal score, and therefore I basically qualify for just about anything I apply for at the lowest possible interest rate. So the reason why I'm making this video is I want to talk about the best possible business cards that you can get and why you might need business credit. Now, you've probably heard people online talking big about, oh, yeah, well, I get a business credit card and it doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect my credit, and this, that, and other, or it boosts my credit, and then I buy this and that on my business credit. Before you attempt to get a business credit card, you actually have to consider whether or not you actually need one. Number two, you need to consider a couple of things about your tax situation. And before you even bother applying, you really have to take a look at your personal credit so that you can see if you even can possibly apply for one. Because chances are some of you can, some of you can't. We're going to look at it and I'll give you the links. You can read most of this yourself. So I'm going to skim through it. And then I'm going to tell you about what I decided to do about getting my own personal business credit card instead of using the credit card that I already have for my business. Now, let's see. They say most business owners start out needing resources to sustain themselves during their company's early stages. Owners need everything from computers and telephones to specialty equipment. But obtaining financing as a new business can be challenging. That's where a business credit card comes in. A business credit card can help you get the working capital you need, build your business credit history, and get valuable benefits along the way. Even if your business is well established, there are many reasons to consider getting a credit card for everyday expenses. Keep reading to find out if you should get a business credit card or not. So, in summary, when you start a business, a lot of the equipment that you're going to need, you may not have the capital right away to buy it, and you may be able to buy it on credit as long as you pretty much have a plan to pay it back. So a business credit card, for the most part, works the exact same way your regular personal credit card works. In the other videos that I did, I talked about building your credit, getting a secured credit card, moving on and getting... Now, my bias is towards travel because I travel globally annually, and I focus mostly on rewards specifically revolving around travel. I've already talked about that at length. So it says, how do business credit cards work? A business credit card is a revolving line of credit that you can use to pay business expenses. It works similar to a personal credit card, but it's designed for business expenses instead of personal or family-related needs. While you can technically use a personal credit card for business expenses, here are some comparisons of business credit cards versus personal cards and why a business credit card is generally better. So the main reason, I'm not going to read all of this, but the main reason is the higher credit limit. If you have a business, for example, my business, we have an Amex Centurion Black Card, and we have to spend $250,000 every single year. That's the minimum that you're allowed to spend. You have to, that's the minimum, not the maximum. You can spend whatever you want. You can spend $1,000,000. The bottom line is they make you spend at least $250,000 a year. There are other business credit cards out there that if you are running a company or if you're running a building, usually there's a business credit card for expenses specific for the building. It says building business credit also is a reason why you want to have a business credit card, because this way you can build your credit, your business credit, and your personal credit is not basically being accessed when you're making your purchases or when you're paying it back. I'm going to talk about that later because that is one thing that I do have a little bit of a concern with about, splitting your credit up into business and personal. I'll talk about that later. Business specific rewards and perks. Now, when I talk about travel, there's a couple of things that I like to do when I travel. First of all, I don't fly economy. I always fly either business class or first class. The reason why is obvious. It's because I'm fucking like 6'6" tall, and I need that extra space because I'm a big dude. So what is it? Premium. Okay, so some airlines like Emirates are launching new premium economy. And they're doing this because business class is so expensive that most people really can't afford it. So rather than launch these planes not fully full, some companies like Emirates that I use to go to Dubai and I'm possibly going to use to go to the Maldives. I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to use Qatar or Emirates to go to Maldives. But basically, this is how you're flying. Basically, the 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 premium economy on Emirates is better than the first class on any of these shitty American airlines. I refuse to fly economy. You'll never see me in economy, ever. Every time I fly, I'm gonna make videos. You'll never see my ass in economy, ever. I will charge that shit and make sure that I get the maximum number of points just to ensure that I do not have to fly economy ever, ever, ever again. Fuck that. So this is all the stuff you get in business. Basically, you get more seat space, you get more front leg space. Usually, they give you like 50 pounds worth of luggage that you're allowed to carry on. If your business, they kind of give you like twice as much luggage expense as the regular people because obviously there's fewer people in business and first, so they give you more luggage allowance. But basically, you paid for that. Then the other thing is the lounges. So when you're talking about American Express, for example, so they have lounges, and the lounges are found at these airports. And I did a video when I was in the Philippines of the lounge that I used when I flew business on Filipino Airlines. But basically, the lounges are usually all you can eat buffets. Now, for the most part, the food is airline food, so you're still basically eating the same stuff you'd be eating on the plane. The only thing about it is it's all you can eat, and you get as much as you want. And the other important thing is that you can eat at any time of the day. Like I've had flights as early as 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, and you rush out of the hotel to get to the airline. You don't have enough time to grab breakfast. So when I was in the Philippines, for example, I had a flight at like 6 o'clock. So I had to get there to the airport 2 hours early. I checked in. I went to the lounge. The lounge, checked my ticket to make sure I was allowed to be there. I went in there. I had my breakfast and everything. I loaded onto the plane, and the plane hadn't taken off for a little bit late because there was like a rainstorm, because they always have rainstorms during that time of the year. So, as you can see, these pictures of the Centurion Club, that's who I use because I have the Centurion Black for my business. And basically, this is what it looks like. I mean, these lounges, for the most part, as far as I know, most lounges are not really exclusive. If you pay the money, you can get in. Like some of the lounges, if you pay like $25, you can get in. If you pay $50, sometimes you can get in. Sometimes they are exclusive and they won't allow you in, but for the most part, I think it's like between $50 and $100 you can get in. But once again, the food is airline food. It tastes like airline food. Now, they have jello and pudding and soda and beers and wines, but you'll recognize all that stuff comes right off the plane. Like when you're on the plane, they serve you like the same exact stuff. Um, some of these buffets may have been affected by COVID because with COVID, they don't allow you to keep certain things out, like salads and stuff. I don't think you're allowed to keep those things out in the open anymore. So I don't know what travel's going to be like this year coming, but when I leave and I go to either Maldives or whatever, Doha, Maldives, or possibly Philippines for a month, I don't know yet because I haven't seen the borders open up yet. But bottom line is, one of the main things that you get out of a business card is access to concierge services. So you get access to the lounges, you get access to limos that'll come pick you up if you need it. Like they'll send a Mercedes to pick you up. They'll send a Econo van if you request it. They'll basically send you like Uber Black or whatever, or Lyft, and they will pick you up and they'll save you some of the costs of getting yourself to the airport. So once again, I'm very biased towards travel. Some people are biased towards eating out and dining, and some people are biased towards like entertainment and shows. I'm not really that much into the entertainment and shows, and I really don't bother so much with the dining out. I dine out, but I just do it with regular money. It's travel that I focus mostly on. Now, they say different types of business credit cards. There are cashback cards. Apple Pay is a cashback card. I use Apple Pay. I would recommend that if you have a card that you think it's going to give you decent rewards, or you know it's going to give you decent rewards, and you don't intend to use it much, my recommendation is that you put something like your extended warranty coverage on it, or you put something on it that you know you're going to get charged for every single month, just so that you keep the credit card active. Your gym membership might be one. Your car warranty might be another. Your phone bill might be one. Some of these business cards will actually give you credits for your phone bill, and in some cases, the credit for your phone bill can be enough where it offsets the annual fee, which we'll talk about later. Travel cards, obviously, this is me, points and miles. Right now on my Capital One Venture, I have like 101,000 miles or points or whatever. Translates into about $1,100. So when I spend it, I can pay off an entire hotel bill just using the points and the rewards. That's what I like, because I save up points and rewards, and that makes it so I can only pay for the flight, and then everything else is covered by the points and the rewards. 0% APR. It's hard to get 0% APR. Obviously, these things usually come if you are paying off your bills immediately. We'll talk about that later. Secured cards. Secured cards are the ones where you pay them and they use that money to back up your credit, so that, like, if you want to use $1,000 worth of credit, you send them like $1,000 worth of your own money. Slowly but surely, that starts building up your business credit. And that's usually, secured cards are for people who have shitty credit. I'll just say it just like that. Now, if you're a student and you just graduated college, that's understandable. You have shitty credit. If you're a person who fucked up their credit and went bankrupt or something, which I've never done, like Dave Ramsey and all these other people who are, all of a sudden these people are all gurus, and yet they've been through bankruptcy, and I haven't, and I have an 850 credit score, and they don't, but they're the ones who fucking know everything. So the bottom line is, these people fucked up, and I didn't. But those are the people that the news chooses to focus on. They don't focus on people like me that actually play the game better than everybody else, and we succeed and they don't. They don't talk about people like me. Like, when I walk into the bank, they think I'm a motherfucking unicorn. But anyway, secure cards are for people with fucked up credit. I'll just say it just like that. So if you have a business and you got a secured card, your credit sucks. And that's just it. I'm not casting judgment on you. I'm just saying your credit sucks. You got to build it up. And I was there. When I got out of high school, when I got out of college, my credit was what, 530? Now my credit is fucking 850. 850. See, when you proud of your credit, you shout that shit at the top of your lungs. Okay, so anyway, other benefits of business cards. You build your business credit history, which is good if you need loans to make your business bigger and expand. Helps you manage your cash flow. The main thing that we'll talk about is taxation. When you want to simplify accounting and taxes, using a business credit card and separating your expenses for your business versus using a personal card for your personal expenses, that makes it easier to simply hand your accountant a bill, and it makes it easier for him to track it makes it easier for him to track how profitable the business is. It makes it easier to track business discounts, tax law discounts. So, for example, as a YouTuber, once you're making enough money on YouTube, you're making over $600 a year, you have to file 1099. If you're a YouTuber, you are technically a journalist and you are self-employed. So if you file W-2, that's one thing, but you can also file 1099. Now, if you're going to go that route, you want to keep your business expenses accountable. So you want to have receipts. I, for example, because I'm a YouTuber and I do car reviews and all that, most of my car expenses, I get tax deductions on them. So in order to get into that, you're going to want to file 1099, and you're going to want to have a decent CPA who can walk through all your receipts and walk through your expenses for the year. And he can save you money on your warranty, he can save you money on tires, and anything that you're using the car for up until a certain amount of mileage. Different states have different laws, so I'm not even going to talk about the law. You have to consult your own CPA, because I don't know where you live. Bottom line is, drawbacks of business credit cards. There are some drawbacks. Personal guarantee is required. It says virtually all small business credit cards require a personal guarantee when you apply. This means that if your business can't pay off the charges you put on the card, you're legally responsible for paying them using your personal assets. Very simply, you don't spend more money than you can pay back. It's obvious. They can impact your personal credit. If you default on this shit, you can bet they coming after you. That's the bottom line, and they're going to screw up your personal credit, make it so you can never get another business card again. You're going to end up with a secured card with fucked up credit. Okay. They are potentially expensive. While business credit cards are more affordable than merchant cash advances and other forms of short-term business financing, they're not cheap. If you think you might have to carry a balance over for a long period of time, a business credit card can end up costing you big time in interest charges. Should you get a business card? While using a business card can add value to your business, it's still a financial obligation that both you and your company are responsible for. Bottom line, I'm not going to read all this. Bottom line, whatever you spend on that card, you have to treat the card like it's a tool. You have to treat it like, I don't feel like carrying around cash in my pocket, so I'm going to use my credit card. But as soon as I get home, I'm going to pay the balance off. Some people like to wait until the first of the month or the end of the month or whatever. I don't do that. I pay it immediately every single night. I never carry a revolving balance, and if you do it that way and you never carry a revolving balance while you're using the card, you will notice your credit go up faster because the bank never sees you carrying a revolving balance. So that's just how I choose to do it. So, what's next? The actual cards. I'm going to include this link. You can look at these and you can look very carefully at them. Some of these cards, now this is something I always try to avoid. I always try to avoid annual fees. I don't want to pay annual fees. However, some of these business cards, if your business is profitable enough, you'll earn enough on your tax returns that the tax returns alone will pay off the card. So sometimes you can actually negate the fees by having a profitable business, or in some cases, some cards offer you cell phone credit. And if they offer you cell phone credit and that credit is high enough, it might offset enough of your other cost that you just decide, okay, I'll just pay the fee because the fee is like half as much as I spend in a year on my phone. So, some cards do offer credits towards your cell phone use. Now, most of these have zero annual fee. They have Ink. This is a Chase business card, American Express, Blue Business Cash, Capital One Spark, Blue Business Plus. Now, these right here have zero annual fees. Some of them, like this one, the Business Platinum card from American Express, this is going to cost you close to $600 a year. If you applied now, it's like $600, but if you apply later, it's like $685, I believe that was the number. However, they're giving you 1 to 5 times points. So 1 times to 5 times points. So if you know that you have to make large purchases every year, or even if you want to use the card every day to buy lunch, buy gas and fuel and stuff, or what I did recently is I have all of my bills charged to my credit card, and then I pay off the credit card when the balance starts to go up. And I pay the bills as they come in, but they get charged to the card, so this way I can suck down the points. Now, they're giving you 120,000 points for this one. I'm going to come back to this one because I was looking at this one, and I think I would like that one for myself. Capital One has this Spark Miles, 2 times points. My Venture One is kind of like that. It's a $95 per year card, so this doesn't really interest me. Now, they offer you 50,000 points as an intro offer. 50,000 points is basically like $500, to pay them $100 a year, $500, I mean, that's not enough for me. Okay, Bank of America, they have a card, 0 annual fee, 30,000 points. That's basically close to like $300. The Plum card from American Express for flexible financing. So you can look through these things. Now, there's the Delta Sky Miles, and then most of the airlines have their own cards. Personally, I like to avoid airline-specific cards because I don't really fly with Delta. I fly with whoever I fly with. I'll fly with Emirates, Qatar, Asiana, Philippine Airlines. I fly with whoever's giving me the best business class price for the seat. They suggested for best travel card, their pick for travel, they suggested Chase Inc. And this has an annual fee for $95, 1 to 3 times rewards. I don't like that. Now, granted, one of the other issues is whether or not you'll get approved based on your credit score. I have an 850, so I know I would get approved if I applied for it. And I also have business credit background, so I know I would get applied. If I applied, I'd get it. I don't want to pay them an annual fee like this. I don't want to pay them $100 just to use the card. I don't want to pay them that. Now, American Express, to me, is kind of different. When you're doing American Express, you're a big boy. And a big boy's got big boy cards. It's just like I was saying. We have the Centurion, the Amex Black Centurion card. And again, you're only really even invited into that card if your business spends $250,000 or more per year. The minimum is $250,000. Now, cards like this do not require that kind of minimum. All they require is that you pay it off immediately, by the end of the month. It says this card's not cheap, but it comes with an extensive portfolio of benefits that make it well worth the investment for entrepreneurs who are always on the road. 5-time points on flights, which you got my interest. I'm interested. And prepaid hotels on AmexTravel.com. Access to more than 1,300 lounges. You remember the lounges with the food? Absolutely. I like that. 200 annual credit for incidental airline fees. I actually lost my bags one time. When I was in China, they lost my fucking bags and they delivered it like 2 days later. So stuff like that does happen. Plus, reimbursement for the application fee for TSA, PreCheck, or global entry. And automatic elite status with Marriott and Hilton hotels. I don't really go to either one with any, reliability. I just go to whoever I go to. I don't even care about the hotel. I really don't. Cons. $595 annual fee is very steep. Keep in mind, though, that the fee is a deductible business expense, and that's what you got to remember. I feel better about a $600 annual fee that I know I'm going to benefit from than paying them $100 to get less. Like, I would rather have access to all that American Express global business stuff, like the lounges and the prepaid hotels. Chase, in my opinion, doesn't offer enough of that. So they say, okay, if your business budget includes enough expenses to earn it, the sign-up bonus is worth $1,250. If you redeem the points for travel booked through Chase, you can also transfer points to a dozen or so airline and hotel programs. Hyatt, United, Southwest, Marriott. See, again, I just don't see it. Not with Chase. I don't know if I could spend that kind of money on Chase. I just don't see it. You read it yourself. Look. Yeah, I just don't see it. $100 and I don't get access to all those American Express lounges. Shit, I'd rather just pay $600. Now, again, it's a business expense. Your CPA might be able to strike it out and make it so that it basically pays for itself, especially if you're spending that kind of money a year on your business. Most of these cards allow you to authorize other users, for example, like if you have a CFO, if you have a second person working with you, like a manager or an assistant manager, you can certify other people to use the card, and the spending will just be paid for, but everything's accounted for, and it easily goes to your CPA, and he will do your taxes. Now, this is a big boy card. They're talking about if you're going to buy this boy, you're going to have some high-ass credit. Now, they're talking about a $690 to $850. First of all, I'll tell you like this. If you're not like $750 or better, chances are they're going to deny you. However, if they do deny you when you apply, you can call them, and if you walk them through your portfolio, there's a possibility that you can get an override and that they can give you the card despite the fact that you may have dings on your personal credit. But you got to understand, in order to get these type of cards, you have to have excellent personal credit to start with. So you're talking about 700 and up. So that's something to consider. But this card, I'm actually looking at this card more and more because, like, they're talking, I haven't carried cash in like weeks. I spend on Apple Pay. I have my watch and I got the Apple Pay on the watch. I swipe my hand. I tap my credit card. I really don't use cash very much. The only thing I use cash for is my gardeners for my houses, or no, really that's about it. I really don't use cash much. I even pay for all my gas. I go to the gas station at BJ's or Costco, and I pay for gas with credit. And by using the credit card constantly, it's allowed me to build up and maintain an 850. Because the problem is, it's easy to get the 850. The problem is you have to maintain it. So you got to do everything right to make sure the 850 stays 850. That's the hard part. And yes, mine is still 850. So, Capital One Spark Miles for Business. I'm not really excited about this, but they say zero intro for the first year. Now, this is a travel rewards with flat rate rewards. Capital One does this with Venture 2. They give you 2 times points. With Venture 1, they give you 1.75, I believe. The difference is the intro offer is a lot higher. They give you like 50,000 points to start with. They're travel rewards with no annual fee. If you're the type of person who looks at that American Express and says, I'm not a big boy, that's too big for me, well, then you can come on down here and get the annual fee, $0, Bank of America Business Advantage Travel Rewards. You have to obviously have excellent credit for that. They're saying you need to have between 720 and 850. But, again, if you don't have a 720 or better, it's very possible you can call them and you might be able to get the override. But again, no annual fee is nice, but I already have 2 no annual fees. I have American Express Blue, but then I also have Apple Card, and then I also have Capital One. So I don't pay annual fees on any of those. If I'm going to get an annual fee card, you best believe it's going to be a big boy card. It's going to be a big boy card. So Plum, flexible financing. If you pay your bill within 10 days of your statement, you get an automatic 1.5% discount. If you need more time, pay the minimum due. You can get up to 60 days interest fee. So things like this are like when you gotta constantly purchase equipment or finance things for your business, and then within a short period of time they want you paying it off. They say businesses with high working capital needs but sometimes inconsistent cash flow might find the Plum card from American Express a perfect fit. Okay. Then you get to these hotel cards. To tell you the perfect truth, I avoid these. I really don't like. I don't want to be locked into a specific hotel. When I go traveling, I'll use condos. I'll use any hotel that I get a really good rate for. Because basically, when I look for hotels, I'm looking for a kitchen, a pool, air conditioning, and Wi-Fi, and sometimes a free shuttle ride back and forth to the airport. As long as the hotel has all of those things and the price is reasonable, that will make me sign up for a specific hotel. I'm not going to go to the Marriott in another country where I know they're going to charge me American prices to stay in it. I'm not doing that. I avoid these. I avoid the Marriott card. I don't want the Hilton card. They've called me up a couple of times. I'm like, nah, I don't want it. They send me this stuff in the mail. I take that stuff outside, put it in the grill. I burn it. Delta Sky Miles, again, I don't fly Delta frequently enough. I don't fly any airline with any frequency. It's like I could be on Emirates, I could be on Etihad, I could be on Qatar, I could be on whoever gives me the best flight to the countries I want to go to at the best price. They want $550 annually with an 80,000 intro offer and only up to 3 times your miles on a purchase. I don't think so. That the American Express to me is better, especially at that price, $559. Shit, I'd get the American Express. It says the card gets you into Delta Sky Clubs and American Express Centurion lounges. Okay, that's good because that basically does what. See, basically, if you really see it, what they're doing is they're making you pay to get into these American Express Centurion lounges. That's what it is. And when you have access to that and you're flying with frequency, this ultimately pays for itself, because if you flew with enough frequency, I mean, what would you expect? To sit down to meals like this and to sit down in a lounge like this? You'd be paying like $50 a pop. So if you fly with frequency, this makes perfect sense. When it doesn't make sense is a year like last year where, under the coronavirus quarantine, you couldn't travel. That's when it doesn't make sense. But if you really think about it, to get access to these lounges and not have to pay at the door, yeah, 550 makes a lot of sense. But this is really for somebody, I would say, who's flying internationally 3 times a year or more. Or let's say even 2 times a year or more. Because I basically do 2 times a year. I go in April maybe, and then I go in July usually. In fact, I'm still waiting for my passport to get back. But that's what you got to consider. Do you fly with that level of frequency that you would want access to the American Express Centurion lounges? Personally, I would like to have access to the American Express Centurion lounges. My issue is right now, I don't fly with that much frequency. However, the card very much could be worth it if I write it off as a business expense and I don't feel the $600 fee. Like, for example, if they make it so that the fee comes and I have to pay it every April when I get my tax return, I would never care. It would be just $600 that I just wipe off and I throw at you and say, okay, yeah, there you go. Let me into the American Express Centurion Lounge so I can eat like a king. That's how I feel about it. So basically, of all of these business cards, I would have to say that the one that interests me the most is actually this one, the Travel Rewards Business Platinum card. But at $600, it's a lot to consider. 5 times the miles does sound good, but again, that's just where it is. So that's $600 a year. Now, I know if I apply for it, I will get it. And who knows, I just might consider doing that. But that's the thing. So they're saying that you have up until January 12th, 2022 to get this card at that fee, $595 annually. And that's a pretty damn, I mean, it's, listen, if it's a business card and you're doing it right, you're doing your business right, you're good. And then they have a full review where they talk about this card. I would say this is probably the best card here, but again, I'm biased to travel. They even say it right there. Don't travel much? Well, then this isn't your card if you don't travel much. Now, I will travel about 2 to 3 times a year. So this card probably isn't for me. And I'm probably doing better not paying any annual fee and using the Capital One Venture. The only downside is the points build up slower because they're only giving you, 1.75 points. So that's the only real downside. The cash back that comes with Apple Pay, I will say, I see that cash back immediately through my expenses. I can see it. I can take that cash back and I can use it immediately. Like if I wanted to buy coffee from Starbucks or something, the cash back is very quick. It's very obvious. And my thing is, I usually don't spend the rewards or the points. I usually save them as long as I possibly can, and then I spend them at once. Like the last time I spent points before the coronavirus hit, I got my girlfriend a ticket to Thailand when I made the video, The Real Bangkok, because I made a video when I do the travel vlog, and I flew her to the hotel to meet me because she had gotten out of work at a different time than I did. So I paid for her ticket, and she flew with Thai Airline. And who else? I also spent my points in South Korea to pay for the Seal Hotel. I made a video about South Korea. If you were interested, you could see that too. So basically, that's it. I'm looking forward to traveling. I'm looking forward to making some more travel vlogs. And if anything, I'm going to think more about this card and whether or not I want to buy that card. Basically, you're buying it because you're paying them $600 a year. But that's basically it. So of all these cards, if you want a business credit card, you want to build up business credit, first of all, you should make sure your own credit is decent first so that we know that you know how to handle your credit. And then if you want to move on, you get yourself a business credit card, start building up your business credit. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. That's all I had to say. If you have questions, comments, critiques, whatever, you can put it in the comment section, and I'll reply to it as I see them.